Hello.
G'day, CK. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. I'm very good. My season is maybe alive. Maybe. I won't talk about
Yeah.
week 7 so far because that's not going very well. But let's just focus on week 5 and 6. It's alive. Barely.
Yeah, looking a bit frisky all of a sudden.
And you're up and about too. We're both. You're way at the top. Way at the top.
Yeah, like mine's a bit of a mirage. I think it's being carried by a couple of pretty good players. It could all fall apart pretty easily, but I'll take it for now. Yeah. Anyway, let's get into it. We'll kick off with our first segment, as always. Play the music, maestro. The quote.
I cannot believe how good my team is this year. I have stumbled ass backwards into an incredible RB room. Such an incredible RB room that Hampton went on IR and I could just sub in Scattlebro. How long will it be before the wheels inevitably fall off like they always do? Or maybe they won't. And maybe those motherfuckers will finally come to the Gold Coast for the draft. Wait, what? They're drafting in Melbourne next year? Seriously, fuck those guys. Also, fuck Seth Rollins, Sexy Boy Jazz, aka Rum Breaker, who is the person that I saw when I was at Monday Night Raw last Monday, and I'm looking at this guy in Perth, and I'm like, this guy looks exactly like Jazz, just a bit more bigger.
Is that why you went? Is that why you went to WA?
I actually went for a conference, and it just got very lucky that the wrestling was on the Monday.
Is it true that that we booed the American national anthem?
That happened at the pay-per-view that I wasn't at that, and they did not show that on television, but yes, they did boo the national anthem.
Okay. Well, number one, this quote is very long. You might need to run it through ChatGPT to edit it for brevity next time. But yeah, I like this. I like this photo. I liked it when you sent me this. This dude definitely bears more than a passing resemblance to Jared. Maybe if Jared kind of beefed up a bit and put on a bit of pud to go with his ripped six pack.
Yeah. It could be Jared, for sure.
Definitely could be. All right. Next cab off the rank. All right. On trial this week, this fucking guy. That's right. I'm just going to start putting members of the league on blast in this segment. I'm going a bit unhinged.
Which league? The NFL league or our league?
That's a member of our league. If you look closely, mate, that's actually Chris Carter.
Okay, clipboard.
Yeah. Look, lovely guy. Host the draft this year. We do appreciate it. He's one of the top Chris's in the league. But he's I got to put him on blast this week, and there's a number of reasons for that, and I'll go through them here. Firstly, this fucking team name is one of the worst, if not the worst, that I think we've ever had to endure in this league, and that's a pretty fucking low bar considering some of the shit we've had over the 13-odd year history of this league. You know, to call this team name Jono Caliber is actually incredibly disrespectful to Jono, who, you know, is definitely good for a shitty team name, but at least has the decency to move on from them pretty quickly. Yeah. Whereas we've had to endure this monstrosity pretty much all year. It sucks. If he wanted to do a K-pop Demon Hunters themed team name, he could have asked me. I've got plenty of ideas. I've seen that movie more time than I care to mention. Matthew Golden is just sitting right there waiting for you to make a team name out of it. This is crap. It needs to go.
I agree. It sucks.
Number 2, calling me MB2. I haven't forgotten about that.
How long ago was that? 2 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago?
That was a month ago, according to Sleep. I haven't let it go. Fuck off. Number 3, and just in general, like comments that fall into one of two categories, either like incredibly arcane, like obscure references that he never bothers to explain, or just like horrifically bad puns that even Jono wouldn't stoop so low as to dip his hand into. And number 4, and worst of all, and I covered this off already, like firstly drafting this bloke who I put on the commissioner's exempt list and told everyone they couldn't draft. And then, furthermore, having the fucking temerity, the fucking onions to start him against me last week. Absolutely disrespectful.
Did you
I
win
could
that or
not
did you lose
could not
that?
believe.
Did he
No,
lose?
he got fucking pumped, as he should.
Well, you did say when we had that earlier segment that was the only real rule of all those fake rules. This was the only real rule. You
I
weren't allowed to.
did, and I meant it, and he's broken it, and now his punishment is that he is made the subject of the commissioner's tribunal, and I find him guilty of being a flog. So pick up your act,
I think
Carter
his sentence should be that for the next decade he always must not have Aaron Rodgers. Like even when he's retired, he's got to have him on the list, clogging it up.
10 years. I think it might be optimistic to say that Aaron Rodgers' career is going to last another 10 weeks. Did you see his own offensive lineman trying to injure him during their celebration? That clip was doing the rounds. It's pretty funny. Yeah, all right. That's enough. Pick up your act, Carter Factor. Winners and losers. Let's go. All right, we're not going to have too many more opportunities to do this year, so I decided to glorify your team for once. And
this is a quality little Photoshop job you've got there.
Yeah. So you've collectively done the league a favour by basically putting the nail in the coffin for Jono's season, I think at this point, by smashing him into smithereens. So yeah, mate, take the floor. Tell us about what's going on with this team, and how you managed to put the boot into old mate this week.
Well, I don't think my team is horrendously bad. It is reliant on a couple of key players, and they haven't for many weeks all come together at once. So Drake May, I had a lot of faith in, and he has repaid the faith. I think he's at the sixth best quarterback overall. So where I got him in the draft, that's good value.
Yep.
He's running a lot. He's getting touchdowns. And then it's a very reliant team on Drake London performing. Bijan generally always performs, but if Drake London gets up and has a big game, then the team will probably go over the line. If he has a shit game and he really either puts up a 30 or a 5, that seems to be what he does, right? If he puts up a 30, then my team will come across the line. The rest of the players have been good. Warren has been great. And the Patriots have been really solid. They've got a great schedule. And I feel hopeful that with Rashee Rice, and I tell you, I've got a lot of offers for Rashee Rice over the last couple of weeks, which have turned them all down. Turned them all down.
Had any offers for Bijan? I'd love to get my hands on Bijan, mate.
No, I don't think anyone. I don't think I'm going to trade Bijan. Unless the season's really over and we're going to Kingmaker you. Talk to me later on in the season when it's actually over. The team has been strong. But I think what was particularly enjoyable about the curb stomping of Jono in this week is, despite all those solid performances, I had to overcome perhaps one of the worst performances by a kicker we've seen in a while, who managed to score me -1 from a missed field goal.
Had 2 kicks and missed them both.
And, of course, I wasn't even starting a second quarterback with my combination of Vikings 1-2s being on bye week. I had to start fucking Mark Andrews in my super flex, and I still curb stomped Jono.
Yeah. Yeah, I noticed the kicker. Have you cut that kicker yet, or are you going to roll him back?
I have faith in him. He had a bad game. I'm sticking with him.
All right. Are you sticking with Ramondre Stevenson as well?
Yeah, that one is the epitome of the sunk cost fallacy.
Yeah.
And I put $143 in that guy, and I feel like I can't drop him.
Yeah.
And,
all right.
And he's still getting touches. They're just really bad touches, and he can't do anything with the ball.
13 carries for 18 yards is some kind of fucking stat line, I got to tell you.
Trevion wasn't much better. And Gibson's injured out for the rest of the year. So all I need is Trevion to get injured, and then he's going to have 30 carries for 30 yards.
The answer to the Patriots backfield is just none of them, mate. It's just Drake May throwing the ball, slinging the rock. Yeah.
Love that photo. Thank you for that.
Yeah, great. This was enjoyable to watch. Love to see you get up. I don't always necessarily do both sides of the matchup for winner and loser, but I thought, fuck it, how many more chances am I going to have?
That's another great ChatGPT picture there. I love it.
Jono berating his absolutely fucking terrible fantasy team. Give me your thoughts. Speaking of Travion Henderson, he's been sticking with him, even though he's been just as bad as Ramondre. Really not a lot to get excited about here, other than Waddle's profile pick, which is pretty funny. What was Sleeper doing there? Trey McBride's been really, really good, but not a lot to write home about. The quarterback situation is fucking grim, and this is just looking really bad. And we're going to do mid-season power rankings pretty soon. I haven't started looking at it yet, but Jono is going to be down there, and that's rough. This is a guy who competes every year. Like, we make a lot of jokes, but he puts in a lot of effort, and it's pretty rare for him to be on life support this early in the season. Give me your thoughts on Dr. Evil.
We'll have to go back in the mid-season ranks and look at the sort of draft decisions that he made. I don't know if there's a severe injury that he suffered that from his early round picks, because I really can't look at this team and understand who he drafted in the first round. I presume he took Trey McBride in the second round, which I think in our league can be somewhat of an overdraft sometimes with the tight end. We have the tight end premium, of course, but
he lost Joe Burrow. That's his big injury.
Yeah, well, that's hard to recover. And I think he spent a lot of fab on Browning, and that's been a bit of a disaster.
Yeah.
He really needed Joe Flacco.
Yeah, he did actually. Revitalized Joe Flacco.
But the thing is, I would have never. Look, John does this research, and he cannot defend this, but I would have never drafted Joe Burrow this year because everyone knew that offensive line was a fucking disaster. Like, everyone was aware that there was going to be like a bazillion sacks on that quarterback because the O-line was so bad. And, that means either effective performance, but also the likelihood of injury is high. So I was not particularly interested in that.
Isn't the counter argument there that they were bad last year too, and Burrow still produced?
What did he finish last year?
I don't know, but he was good. And he didn't get injured, right? This year, the big difference is he's gotten absolutely pole-axed early on the season, and although his injury, like turf toe, it's hard to draw a straight line between getting sacked because your offensive line are a bunch of useless fatzos and turf toe, right? Turf toe is a running back's injury normally, so that was really bizarre.
I'm not an expert on the names and identities of offensive linemen because generally who gives a fuck? But I understood that even though they were bad last year, it was worse this year. Like, whoever was good was gone.
Yeah. All right. Any further thoughts on Jono's team before we close the casket?
If I have to think about the other people that are down the bottom of the ladder and my just general thoughts about their teams, they're not anywhere near as bad as this, and Jono's going to have a hard time avoiding a Ringo, at least a Ringo berth.
Agreed. All right. Next up, it is Fab time.
Oh, sorry. I went into full screen so I could see.
You were all over these music cues earlier. Now you just absolutely fumbled the rock like fucking Ramondre Stevenson.
Ramondre Stevenson loves to do.
We seem to be doing these shows every 2 weeks, but we have a couple of good storylines here to talk about in the absolutely fabulous section, and one of them conveniently has actually played out over 2 weeks, and of course it's the saga of the Chargers backfield, right? So this is a
great meme.
Out of who I put on blast earlier, but this is a good meme. They lost. I can't even remember the name of the guy that started the season with them. He was the dude from the Steelers that we all thought had lost an eye over.
Harris.
Yeah, Najee Harris. He goes out early. Hampton comes in. Everyone that drafted Hampton's fucking licking their chops, going, rightio, here we go. He lasts about 5 minutes for going on IR, and then the whole fantasy world is left with this this conundrum of trying to figure out which of these two anonymous bozos is going to take over the backfield, right? So
to be fair, Kiami Vidal is more known than Hassan Haskins, because like 3 years ago there was all this hype about Kiami Vidal and it was just shit. But I remember him being like he's a post hype sleeper now.
So, and it has to be said, apart from Jared, nobody in the league got particularly excited about these two guys when they became available, right? You know, apart from him, the bids were all like sub $30 for these blokes. So clearly nobody was really buying into this except for Jared, who for whatever reason 2 weeks ago was like, I'm throwing down $80 and I'm getting one or both of these blokes. He actually would have got both if he'd had enough room on his roster. So he's thrown down 86 on Haskins and then 81 on Vidal, and then ultimately he's gotten Haskins as a priority. The game is played out. Vidal has gotten like 80+% of the snap share, and he's done really well, really productive, bunch of yards, scored a touchdown. You know, unfortunate call for Jared, but that's just the way it goes. And Tex is the one who scoops up Kamani Vidal and is sitting pretty until such a time as, of course, he very early in the morning on a Monday morning decided that Kamani Vidal was not the way to go, and he's dropped in to pick up the Cardinals running back.
Bam Smith.
I can't remember. Bam Margera.
Bam Knight.
Bam Knight, yeah. Shook Knight, yeah. So yeah, he's and you know what, like, you know, fair play. We didn't really know how things were going to play out with this Chargers situation. Bam Knight actually came out and had a really, really good game. So the move was kind of defensible, but in retrospect, looks pretty rough and has led to really one of the best and most exciting bidding wars of the year for Kamani, for a second bite at Kamani Vidal. With Jared once again throwing like $80+ against the wall, going, I must lock up this backfield, but getting pipped by the Bard, who's taking him home for $92. So there you go.
Mate, I got a couple of favorite things about this waiver bid. I love that Jared felt that he could bid the same price that he bid last time as his top bid. Like, he sort of gave away his hand. He needed to, and look, I'm someone who, you know, I don't like to waste my fat, but he made a mistake by bidding the same amount that he bid last time. Like, you could look at that and go, I just need to go a bit above what he did.
Did he have more to bid? I don't know that he did or not.
Well, maybe that was all his money. Now, also, how many people have bid here for him? Everyone? Who didn't bid?
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I mean, it's the usual, like, Stu who makes one bid a year for $100.
Yeah. And I would like to congratulate myself for being in on this. Yeah. Like, I have 0 fab, but, you know, there's always a chance.
You got to be into it, mate.
0 fab bid in, like, which makes it even more fun. Because, like, yeah, I'm not going to get him, but, you know, it's worth the shot.
Look, it's like the most likely scenario here is that this doesn't work out for me, and I've wasted fab again. But I thought it was worth a shot. If it does work out, though, and we get a string of good weeks from this guy, then, you know, I'm going to look like a fucking genius. But I will throw some cold water on that and say that I did not at all analyze people's past bids or whatever. I literally just bid everything I had. I was like, I have to have a running back. My running back situation is actually god awful. And I literally did not have a second running back to put in the roster for this week. So all the best to the Chargers and to Kamani Vidal. I hope he scores 3 touchdowns this week and delivers me glory. The other storyline I thought was worth talking about was old mate Joe Flacco. You mentioned earlier. Jono thought that $33 might have gotten the job done, and you know, maybe in a different world it would have, but Stu came out of the woodwork with his one massive splurge of the year. A very substantial.
How much is that?
Hey, that's $105, Chris.
Okay, right.
You know what? 1 week in, it's looking all right. He was dealing out there on that Thursday night game.
I have no doubts that Flacco was a good pickup here. Like, they're not going to, unless Flacco gets injured, which is possible. This is what they've decided to commit to until they can hopefully get Joe Burrow back in the playoffs, I believe is the hope, right? So they've got to make playoffs. They obviously decided that Browning was shit. They're done with him. And Flacco's a gunslinger, right? And he's got guys to throw the ball to. Like, yes, there might be some bad weeks.
Receiver in the league. Right.
But this is Stu's like third quarterback, right? Like it's just great insurance.
Well, that goes on to my next point, right? Like, who spends $100+ on a dude and then doesn't start him? Well, it's it's a very expensive backup for your fantasy team.
I think at this time of the year, I think you can be certain that Joe Flacco, injury aside, is going to play every game until probably playoffs or maybe 1 week for most of our season. It's like you can spend money on that, or you can spend $92 on Kiami Vidal. And for all we know, Kiami Vidal will lose the job next week, and then Hampton will be like, what is the Hampton time?
It's at least 3 more weeks. Like he's on IR.
He's on IR, but yeah.
And I look at it and go, well, if I win the next 3 weeks, I'm in the playoffs. That's all I care about. Like,
yeah, you're in a good spot, so you can cover those weeks.
Yeah. All right. Oh, this is the belt matchup. We have music for this if you want to punch that in.
It's that very long one. Where is the belt sitting? I haven't updated it for a while.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event.
Yeah, fuck that music off. All right. Yeah. So the belt, as far as I'm aware, is with Kurt. My wife always says Kurt reminds her of a fisherman, especially with his penchant for wearing a woolen beanie. So I've gone with that's what I've gone with for Kurt's picture here. This likeness.
I get the fisherman vibe. I can see it.
Yeah. Although this guy has hair and Kurt doesn't. So, Jared, I actually think that Jared may have gone through and done a bit of a historical cleanse of his Instagram, because you used to be able to get like a bunch of nudes on his Instagram, and
nudes?
Yeah, he's nuded up a few times on Insta. So
Classy
Jared,
nude?
Nude? Jared, reach out and tell me what's happened to all of the nudes on your Instagram, and can you just DM them to me so I can use them on these slide packs, please?
So we're doing like classy, where like his penis is like carefully hidden behind a leg or something. Is that so?
Yeah. Nah, he's gotten the old fella out a few times. All right, so this is the belt match, and should actually be a pretty good one. So
who is the holder? Is it Kurt?
Kurt is the holder, yeah. So he's on a pretty good little run. He had a rough start to the season, but he's put together a couple of really good weeks. Indiana Jones has taken the reins and is leading his team. Every year we do this, don't we? Like, he just drafts some afterthought quarterback who ends up leading him to the promised land. So it's looking like it might be Danny Dimes, which is ridiculous. He's
can I just
riding.
Say, no one was an afterthought quarterback, but it literally took him the entire preseason to win the job from fucking Anthony Richardson, who is just shit, like just absolutely shit. So there was every thought that Danny Dimes might do 3 or 4 weeks, and then he'd be shit, and then Richardson comes in, and then he'd be shit, and they go back to Danny. That sort of season. But of course, Danny Dimes has gone out there and just balled out, and once again, Kurt has lucked on to an amazing group of quarterbacks. I never get that luck. When I draft some shit quarterback, they always end up being just shit.
To be fair, Kurt's other quarterback is CJ Stroud, who has been shit. So it's been it's been mixed. This is an uncharacteristic team for Kurt, right? Because he's actually got really, really fucking good running backs. Like, he's got obviously Jameer Gibbs, who's been amazing, and Javonte Williams, who's having a breakout year over there in Dallas, right? And we've talked about it on this show before. Like, Kurt's wide receivers this year are not great. But he's getting at the moment he's getting carried by that really strong running back tandem, and Indiana Jones. Kelsey has actually been really good this year. He was kind of pretty pedestrian throughout the season last year in fantasy, but he's been consistently really good.
Do you think that Kelsey could be impacted now that Rice is back? Like, Rice is going to gobble up a lot of possessions.
Well, I'm sure you hope so.
And they're clearly trying to they want Kelsey doing things, but they also want him to not do too much things. So they want him to do things in playoffs.
Yeah.
Man.
Be remiss of me not to mention the Rico Dowdle story as well, right? So this was a guy who kind of got cut from Dallas last year. Like, he was just an absolute nobody.
First, he was given a shot at Dallas at being the guy. Zeke was gone. Pollard was gone. They're like, it's you, Rico, and he sucked, and then he got cut.
Yep. He's gone in and there's a Chuba Hubbard injury, right? This is how this guy's gotten the opportunity. And it doesn't look like he's gonna let go of the job, man. He's been absolutely balling out. So yeah, Kurtz all of a sudden finds himself with like 3 RB1s on the team, which is normally a situation where you head to the trade market and try to strengthen your team a little bit at other positions. So we'll see how he goes. But yeah, it's a good test for him this week against Jared. Jared is not off to a good start with the Pittsburgh defense, who got eviscerated by the aforementioned 49-year-old Joe Flacco in a wheelchair. But he's got plenty of other heavy hitters on the roster. Mahomes getting is Rashee Rice back this week? Does Mahomes get his favorite toy back? So that should be a good hit out. Those Raiders divisional games are usually pretty good. Usually produce some points. And on the other side, he's got Ashton Gianti, who's also been phenomenal. Scatterbo. Everyone loves Scatterbo. Scatterbo is the NFL's favorite meme at the moment. I think everyone, like watching the way that he plays, everyone's just kind of counting down the weeks until he's out with a season or possibly career-ending concussion. But a lot of fun to watch at the moment, and an amazing pickup. When we do like mid-season rankings, and I talk about draft rankings, like Jared's going to come up pretty well for having gotten Scatterbo in like the 57th round or whenever the fuck he was. He was basically an afterthought. So
he wasn't even like guaranteed to have the job. Like there was a lot of like,
was supposed to be the starter, and he's been some combination of shit and injured the entire year.
The pundits were sort of like, oh yeah, look, I don't mind Scatterbo as maybe like a deep sleeper and whatever. Like maybe like that was the sort of discussion. It wasn't like Genty and Hampton. It's like, get these guys, they're going to be elite. Like so, I wonder how much research did Jared do coming into this year, having these 3 rookie running backs, or is this just pure dick luck?
I don't know. You have to ask him. Could just be big dick luck. But yeah, so yeah, this team is looking good. This will be a good belt matchup. Jared has the cheat code of Brandon Aubrey, who's almost guaranteed for at least 15 to 20 points.
When people say don't draft a kicker early, right? And then I end up with fucking Cam Little with his missed 2 kicks. When you could have had Aubrey if I took him in like the 7th or 8th round, whenever like Jared got him. I've been playing fantasy now for how many years we've had this freaking league, 13, 14 years, and I just do not accept this kickers in the last round bullshit. It's just nonsensical. There are better kickers than the other kickers.
Yeah, I feel like throughout most of the history of our league, there's been like at least one elite kicker, right? So it was, well, I think I don't know that Vinatieri was around with that, but definitely it was like the Janikowski era in the Patriots for ages, and Kurt, the meme was that Kurt would always get him every year. Yeah. Then it was old mate from the Ravens, Tucker. Yeah. Who's fallen off the perch, and he's
getting charges for the thing he learned for the what's his name special.
Yeah. And now Aubrey has inherited the mantle of the must-have like S-tier kicker, 55-yard chip shots. So yeah, there's something to it, mate. And we'll see whether in year 14 whether the trend reverses and we see a kicker taken high again, because it's not something we've seen happen very much.
I think Jared's Prescott's also been great this year. I thought Prescott would be good. I thought he was underdrafted in ADP because he was coming off an injury. He's still been good even without Lamb. It's just been really, really solid.
He has. And Jared's got that little mini stack with Prescott and the tight end Ferguson as well. So he's got some.
Who's been very good actually. Yeah. Ferguson's been very, very good.
So yeah, we amped Jared's team up on the last show. I think it's been that fucking long, I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure we spent the last show kind of hyping up Jared's team. 7-5, has a chance to claim the title belt this week. Figuratively speaking, he's not actually getting it, of course. But there's a good chance he gets it and doesn't let it go.
It makes him very upset that he doesn't get the belt, but I can't, it's heavy. It would cost a fortune to ship it up to the Gold Coast, and I'd have to put it in one of those, like, diamond packaging, not actual diamonds, but there's like diamond courier where, like, it's insured, like it's what you send jewelry in, right? It's because it's insured and covered and never leaves somebody's hand. Like, there's a guy that sits on the plane there with it to make sure it doesn't get lost. That's the sort of thing I would need to send the belt, because I couldn't have it be lost in the mail. So
If he wins the league, right, and we end up having to send him the trophy, the ring, the belt, everything else, will you engage the highly paid diamond contractors to escort it up?
if he wins the league, I'll just go to the Gold Coast in January with the fam, and I will bring the belt, because I look forward to a whole summer of naked pictures of him with the belt just covering his junk.
I'm getting sweaty just thinking about it, mate.
The trophy's a bit to be honest, the trophy's a bit more difficult, but I can get him the belt if he wins the league.
Well, you could have him like squatting with the trophy, like tastefully concealing the frontage. Yeah.
It could be tastefully concealed by that card of Mark Tunai.
All right, that will do us for the show, mates.
And next week, in 2 weeks' time, are we coming back with power rankings?
So I think so we're due to do power rankings next week. It will be the show between week 7 and week 8. It definitely can't do it midweek. I will not be prepared, but maybe next weekend we can squeeze it in.
Yeah, let's do it.
Excellent, mate. Thank you, Hugh. We'll see everybody next weekend for mid-season power rankings. Tune in for that. It's always a good show. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Good luck to your fantasy team, unless you're playing me, in which case, get hooked.